afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Caffeinated Librarians, MPL's Pop Culture Podcast. We are kicking off our new series, Costume Drama is what it's called, with a discussion of my pick, the 2011 Gothic romance film Jane Eyre, which stars Mia Wasikowska, I hope I said that right, as Jane Eyre, Michael Fassbender as Edward Fairfax Rochester, and Judi Dench as Mrs. Fairfax. So this film is directed by Cary Fukunaga, and the screenplay is written by Moira Buffini. And so this film is an adaptation of the novel of the same name, written by Charlotte Bronte in 1847. So just a quick background for those of you who may not be familiar with the story of Jane Eyre. So it follows Jane Eyre, who grows up in the home of her aunt, who doesn't really like her, doesn't care for her, and she
doesn't really like her.
So mean for no reason.
Yeah,
she was just like, "You're an evil child."
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll rephrase. She despises her
rotten
niece.
cousin.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that.
I like how he walked like this.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it follows her childhood in the home of her aunt, who basically despises her, sends her off to this reformatory / orphanage of sorts run by some Christian organization, which they're less than Christian and less than charitable.
It wouldn't be Christian, it'd be Protestant, because at this point England is Protestant.
True,
It's
Protestant.
still Christian though.
It is still
not
Christian.
Catholic. Yeah.
My bad. And she eventually graduates from that place, becomes a governess at Thornfield Hall.
She was trained to be a governess.
Yeah, what I liked is how it doled out this information early on. I thought the introduction to this, like the first act, place setting was wonderful. It did some great cross-cutting between these different times and experiences, because we start off with her just like running, and we don't know from what or from where, and she ends up with this guy St. John, because the Brits can't say St. John for some reason. I will never understand that. I'm sorry, British listeners. Like we have British listeners. We're an international podcast.
Oh, we'll hear in the comments if we do.
If we do, that's cool. I'm going to start saying we're international.
Yeah.
That would be nice. So she basically receives a education which prepares her to be a governess. She becomes a governess at Thornfield Hall. Her employer is the very thorny Edward Rochester, who is very sulky, very belittling, and that is
he's a miserable human being.
Yes,
Fassbender in this.
Yeah.
And he's really real cad.
He does, but the fact that he's very attractive, we can excuse that behavior.
Also because he's rich too.
He just loves like playing mind games too in a weird way.
I feel like in the book it's a lot worse. Like when I was reading the book, I was like, why would anyone fall in love with this man? And I know that towards the end of the novel, he is very much a altered man, both in the literal sense and in the emotional, I think, mental sense. He becomes a man that eventually is worthy of Jane Eyre's affections and love.
Yeah.
But he's nasty.
I know.
He is.
Like the first time they meet, he does his horse falls.
Yeah.
He's like,
on him.
Yeah, and then he doesn't tell her who he is.
No.
Or that he's
why
her
would he?
boss.
Yeah.
Why would he?
Yeah.
Right.
And then later on, he's like, "You bewitched my horse."
Yeah.
Were you going for the rest of the coven? Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. But
I think also too though it's mistrust, because I feel like with his wife, he was kind of like bamboozled into, for lack of a better term, into marrying this woman and then having her be in the state of mind that she is, and not her actually being a wife in the literal sense, more of like a figurative sense. So now he's stuck. Yeah. And they have a child needs education. So I think it's mistrust all around.
Yeah. So it becomes apparent early on that something is not quite right.
Oh no.
With the house.
Yeah, there's just a fire in the middle of the night, and the little girl is like, "I saw the lady with the red eyes."
Yeah. Yeah.
I love. Oh, sorry. What is the little girl's
Adele.
name? Adele.
She was great.
I
Yeah.
love Adele. And what I like how, in addition to this book, to the movie and also the novel, I think addresses this to some extent. The colonialism, the othering of other people, the way Adele, being French, her origins are a little obscure.
Yeah.
You don't know exactly if she is
Yeah,
like Rochester's daughter.
It's
like
just
it's
kind of like, oh, I found her.
Yeah.
Like at some point or something to that effect.
It's
Or she
hinted
ended
that
up in
she
my
could be his daughter. He's not 100% sure, but he takes her under his care as his ward. And she's very much the other.
Yeah.
And you see that in the novel, you see it in the film, like, oh, like when Mrs. Fairfax says, how perfectly French.
Yeah.
So, like, the snobbery regarding how England thought of the continent, as they referred to Europe as, like, so you get a little bit of that.
I think it's that she is his daughter. But I think, again, it's because of who her mother is. It's kind of like that projection of...
Well, the mother was a courtesan.
Right.
Before
he married her.
No. This is a different woman.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's
not his.
No.
Okay.
No. It's a woman that he. So essentially, Mr. Rochester's ward Adele. Her mother was this high class French courtesan, whom Mr. Rochester gave his attentions, his affections. It's hinted at that, she was a courtesan, so I don't know what he expected. But basically that she toyed with his affections, got him to, rain money down upon her and buy her whatever she wanted, passed away, and she had this daughter. Mr. Rochester cannot be certain of her paternity, but he says, I'm going to take her in anyway, so she becomes his ward. Jane Eyre is charged with educating Adele, refining her, I guess making her British, basically refining her. So that's going on. You have Mr. Rochester being surly and sort of cagey about things.
Who can forget, the incomparable Blanche Ingram. Blanche Ingram is who he's courting, I guess. I don't even know. I don't know what their relationship was.
They're courting.
I didn't understand.
They're both rich.
Yeah.
They're courting.
Yeah, but not really.
Only
Just
because
the
of money.
Yeah, the old lady's like, they're gonna get married, and then
Yeah.
Jane's like, oh, okay.
I mean, he has very little respect for her as well. Like when she even
Does
says
he respect anyone?
he doesn't. No.
No,
Like I
Glad we
said,
agree on that.
he's a damn rake.
yeah, like I said, his character improves after he experiences tragedy, and he becomes a better person, which unfortunately sometimes happens. Not all, but anyway. So Jane Eyre, you see it somewhat in the movie, but you don't really see it. You see it more in the novel. How she also experiences odd occurrences, but she's gaslit into thinking it's just her. No, this is not happening. Until the arrival of, so we're going to call her the woman in the attic, because you don't learn her name until a little later. This man from...
So can I just say, everybody in the world might know the story of Jane Eyre and what the twist was. When that happened, I was like, what? He's hiding a woman up in the attic?
Honestly, it's pretty dope. It's just like, oh, it's a horror story, too.
Yeah, I was like, damn, he's a monster. I love the line when he's like, I was telling Joe this before. I was like, and maybe you guys have read the book, I assume?
I have. I've never read the book.
You've read the book, so maybe you can tell me how I'm supposed to interpret it. So when Michael Fassbender is like, oh, they would have locked her up with the crazies and the kooks. At least I spared her that. And I'm like, my dude, you still locked her in a room, fam.
So
with no real care.
Yeah. And are we supposed to? But hold on, let me ask a question. But are we supposed to, actually feel for him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay, here's the thing. He could have set her up a lot better. Yeah. He could have had, hired, actual nurses. He's a very rich man.
Yeah. So, but, insane asylums?
No, I'm not saying he could have sent her to the asylum.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm saying he could have hired
absolutely.
nurses and not kept her locked in like a windowless room.
So
Give her a rug or
through
something.
his perspective, what he did was, in his mind, he spared her from what he considered was the alternative, which was the insane asylum. I'm not saying no. He definitely could have done better by her. He has the finances and the resources.
Yeah, he also didn't have to lie about her, I feel like.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I'm not going to try and excuse his behavior because his behavior is atrocious. But it's an embarrassment. Who wants to know? Who wants the rest of upper British society know that you have a mad wife?
And also, I think at that time,
With no actual prospects.
Correct me if I'm
Listen,
wrong, though.
listen,
At that
listen.
time, I think a lot of wealthy families, they would
Hit
have,
somebody in the attic.
they would.
No, they would have just sent them to an insane asylum
That,
and
but
forgot
also
about
some
them.
families quite
Uh-huh.
literally stored, and I don't mean to use that term lightly, people that had any kind of mental illness or were deemed because that they were not seen as people. So they put them in rooms where they would be out of sight,
Yes.
still cared for, but no one would even know they were there.
Yes.
So that did happen.
Just,
you know.
Yeah.
This lady not being really cared for. That's what I'm saying.
No,
Yeah.
definitely
No,
not. Like
absolutely
in
not.
his mind, yeah,
He's,
he's doing what he can. Obviously,
And
no.
I'm just saying, maybe he doesn't have to let everybody know. Like, he can
Right.
let the people who work in his home
Yeah,
know.
Maybe the
but-
woman that he's going to marry, he can let her know.
But you
And be
see,
like,
but
"Listen,
also
I got
too.
this little secret.
I'm sorry,
It's
I
not
need
a
to
big-
just get water.
It's not a big deal, but I got a woman living in the attic.
But you also have to understand though too, if you weren't good or loyal to your servants would then go and gossip to other servants in another household,
He
and
didn't
then
seem to be that good to her, to them though.
right, exactly. So that's why he wouldn't have told them about
he
the
could've just
mad
been a better
wife.
person, though, right?
Of course, but he's
Why are we
he's a rich elitist
But
who
why are
does.
we? Why are we as the reader supposed to like him? I guess is my whole question.
So okay,
I
so
guess
I
just because
think
he's attractive.
yeah,
That's
Most
it,
of
right?
Yeah.
and he's wealthy.
That's it. Rich and attractive.
And
That's
also-
it.
and
That's-
also-
this is one of the greatest novels ever, and that's it.
Well, okay,
also too, you
Or
have
is the
to.
novel different?
You
no,
have
no,
to-
not he's an absolute bastard in
Yeah.
the novel, from what I understand.
But you also have to understand too, this is written for an 1847 audience, not for a 2025 audience.
The novel is notable for a lot of other reasons outside of the plot.
Yeah.
It's so first of all, it's presented as an autobiography, which is crazy.
Really? I
Yeah.
did not know that.
And so it's written all first person, and it's like one of the first, you consider it one of the first English novels to really have like a real interior life to the main character, and like a real concept of the self and all that stuff. So like that's like a huge thing for it. Like just literary wise, like that's why it's so notable.
It's the first book
And
to
like
be
the way
presented in first person.
it's blending like I don't know if it's the first in first person, but just the way it's blending like genre and stuff is very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
Better.
I loved her.
yeah, no,
Jane Eyre.
she's a great character.
I just don't. I guess I just don't understand. At first, I was like, "Am I supposed to
Right.
be rooting for this Rochester guy?"
Right.
And then, like, why am I supposed to be rooting for him?
So also too, and if you don't also understand the romance behind it too, if Jane herself has never been loved, regardless of what that looks like.
That yeah.
So
I'm picking
Rochester showing
But
her
she-
some modicum of affection, she's gonna latch onto that too.
But that almost weakens her. I think. Like.
But she leaves.
The whole time she's this strong. She leaves because he lied to her.
Right, exactly.
Right, but.
But if it made her weak, she wouldn't have left. You know what I'm saying? That would have shown her weakness, because she didn't know about the wife.
But I think how he treats her even before the wife is pretty
Wow.
Yeah, I think, and also if you read the book, which the film kind of shows this, but in the book, Jane is very spunky. So if Rochester says something, she has a rebuttal.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yes, I thought that was great.
Yeah, and also going back to the fact of her with her class is also a factor. That's her
Class is very
employer.
much an effect. Yes.
And also, I think it's also supposed to be ultimately it's a gothic romance.
Yeah.
So it's also, I think, about the heroine sort of imbuing the rough, gruff, whatever man with her goodness. And he even says basically that you're my salvation. I'm not saying this is like wonderful romance beginnings.
Yeah.
But I think that's also an element of the story that's being told, how she is the angel, the purity that is like that is lacking in his own life. He sees himself as someone so vile, so beyond redemption, that when he sees her, she is this, literally, because she's a young woman. You know, I don't even think she's 19 yet. And he sees her as like, you're the innocence that's lacking in my life. You're the goodness that can probably take me out of my darkness. Now, is he still a? Of course he is. He is. It doesn't make him less of a. But also he's a man of his class. What? Thank you. And he's also a man of his class. He is used to being obeyed. He is used to, when I snap my fingers, you march to my orders.
Yeah.
So he's used to also talking to someone. I love the part where Jane says, basically, I wouldn't confuse informality with insolence. One I quite like, one no free-born person should ever endure, even for a salary. And he goes, trust me, most people will do anything for a salary.
Yeah.
So she basically says, you being my employer does not make you greater than I am.
Also, too, when they first have that first conversation, when he blames her for spooking his horse, being a witch, she plays into it. She doesn't try to defend herself. She just plays into it.
Yeah. And also, like, when we eventually get the reveal that all these strange occurrences are the result of this woman.
He's got his Biddy locked in the attic.
And also the reason why she's able to escape is because the woman who's in charge of seeing her is an alcoholic.
Yep.
I think understandably, if I had to spend most of my life tending to someone who also lashes out physically, she gets physically violent as well.
Yeah, when she spit on her, I was like, ugh.
Yeah. So you learn, his wife's name is Bertha. She came from...
Big Bertha.
She came from Jamaica. Her family had money.
Apologies to the Berthas out there, but it's a pretty funny name.
Yeah, and basically her family misled Rochester. They didn't basically say that, she was mad. Obviously, the madness is not defined within the book.
Well, she does.
So it's not exactly explained what she has, but it runs in the family.
But I don't even think back in
well, I'm sure they would have had a term. Like, a lot of the time, the way she's explained is like her passions, her vices. So it's like this, like, okay, like the way
he says that in the movie.
He does,
and also in the book, like, basically she might have been too sexually liberate. So it
could be in a varying degree.
It's things. Like, it's very amorphous. Like, we don't know what her illness is, but that it runs. I think I don't know if in the line of women, or it's just a family ailment. And they basically pawned, which is what they did, their daughter off to this really rich man, said, now she's your problem. Take her away.
And that's where his mistrust comes in.
Yeah.
And why he's the way he was.
Bad for him.
Yeah, well, I think also,
and that's fine.
I think also at this point, I'll probably retract my previous statement. I don't think at this point you are meant to necessarily feel for him.
Yeah, no.
Maybe as a modern audience, I don't even know if the people reading it, I can't speak for them. Maybe there's some people that would have said, nope, sorry, you don't lock your wife up in the attic. Or, yes, oh my God, I feel for this man. Like, I don't know what the intent was.
Yeah.
Eventually, Bertha's existence is revealed. Jane rightfully says, I can't marry you when you are already married. Yeah. He is essentially willing to commit bigamy in order to wed her. And Jane says, no, I am either your wife or nothing, and I won't live as your... Because at one point, it's also hinted at, and I don't know whether this is reading into the text, that he tries to sexually assault her while she's leaving. I don't know if that's reading into it. But he basically says, I could break you almost like a twig, I could...
I hated that. His fingers on her...
Yeah, basically, like, I could make you stay with me, and there's nothing you could do. So there is that undercurrent of violence.
Yeah.
But she basically stands her ground and she leaves.
Yeah.
It devastates her, but she rebuilds her life with the intent of saying that I will live my life never seeing him again.
Yeah.
He lives the rest of his life with never seeing her.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Oh my God.
So eventually, Jane she goes to the home of Saint John. I'm not going to call him St. John. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. I'm going to say Saint John, who is.
He was a little too.
Oh, he definitely is. In the book, he's a lot worse. He's so condescending and so. He basically wants to go to. They call it Hindustan. We would call it India. It also is still called Hindustan, but he's going to go to Hindustan. So he's having her learn Hindi. To be able to go there with him as a missionary. His intent is to marry her. She is not feeling it, and she says, I'd rather go as your sister. He goes, I can't take an unmarried woman with me to another country. And he berates her for being basically inconstant and basically saying, oh, you can't have it both ways. She eventually parts ways with him again, so she has to restart her life. She also learns that she comes into a great fortune.
Yeah, that helps. Mm-hmm. When you got to restart your life,
Yeah. And she learns of Mr. Rochester's misfortune. So at the end,
maybe he's less of a. Go back to him.
Well, at the end, basically, you discover that Bertha once again escaped. She sets fire to the entire castle.
Yep.
Burns it essentially to the ground. Mr. Rochester, in his attempt to save her, he loses.
And everybody else in the castle.
Yeah, like he gets horribly disfigured. He loses sight
in the book. He does get disfigured.
He gets really disfigured.
Because I was like, I mean, granted he's blind now, but all the dude did was grow a beard.
Yeah. So also in the book, Mr. Rochester is not described as being handsome. So Michael Fassbender, love you, but when I see Mr. Rochester, not picturing you.
Well, Jane is supposed to be not.
Exactly.
Very,
yeah, she's very plain, but with Hollywood, whatever.
Yeah. And they say that in the movie too, and it's I don't know. She seems like a pretty lady.
Yeah. So like in the books, obviously they're both supposed to be very plain, and it's basically their souls.
Oh, so it's not about attractiveness then.
Well, no, because Mr. Rochester, he's not supposed to be physically attractive. Think of him essentially as a man who may not be physically attractive, but he has an aura about him, the way he carries himself.
He's like you, Louis. He's very charismatic.
Are you saying I'm not attractive?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Wow.
I'm saying that you're very charismatic, Louis.
Wow, with friends like you, who needs enemies? My goodness gracious.
You read into what I said. You're very charismatic.
I don't even know where to go now. My goodness.
So he's supposed to have this magnetism, this aura about him that basically Jane Eyre says, you're not physically attractive, but for me, the physical is not what matters to me.
So that's why she's okay with the mutton chops.
Yes. Well, also that's the style of the time too.
Yeah, those were weird styles.
And also at that point, he's less than caring about his physical appearance.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't really think so. No,
Me neither.
it's
I don't
tough.
think I could do it.
No.
You end up looking.
Well, apparently I can't pull off anything.
Louis, that's not what I said.
You end up looking lame. You look like Lenny, but like a Lenny wannabe. It's like, who cares?
So when Jane returns to him, he has essentially lost everything. He has hit rock bottom when she returns to him. And at that point, he also is a changed man physically, emotionally. And that's when
one could say he's finally seen the light.
Yes, Luke, we're continuing with this joke.
Apparently in the book, he gets his sight back and stuff.
In one eye, yes. He gets his sight in one eye, and he sees their son. So essentially...
Oh, they have a kid?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess it goes on a lot longer. This kind of cuts off.
Oh.
Yeah, so essentially the book ends where she has chosen to return to him. He basically admits, I need you.
Yeah.
And that is when she says... and I will be there for you.
Yeah. And
then they get married.
Yeah.
They get married. They have a kid, and basically sight returns to one eye, and he's able to see his kid.
There's the famous line, "Reader, I married him."
Yes. Yes. So essentially, Jane is the one who elects to return to him, even when he has nothing. Mm-hmm. And he even tells her, if you marry me, you're marrying, and this is the term in the book, a cripple. I have nothing that I can offer you. And she says, okay. Mm-hmm. He says, you'll have this, okay. She basically says that now you are worthy. You have basically and it's whatever. So he has to be at his lowest point.
He's no longer
to
proud.
Ultimately be worthy of her, basically, not in her eyes necessarily, but to the readers, where he has finally been humbled.
He has, his pride has been taken.
Yeah. And he sort of has been, to some extent, punished for his cruelty and neglect of Bertha.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Bertha kills herself. Unfortunately, and that's what ultimately frees him as well, and they're finally able to get married.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
He says,
right?
"Thank God, my crazy wife killed herself."
So
My God,
and so
Now I can marry this rich governess, former governess.
Well, he doesn't know she's wealthy.
And I think also,
I'm sure he finds out pretty
but
quickly.
I think also in the book she doesn't take all the money. If I'm not mistaken, she distributes it. She
She's
gives
like-
some
she
to
only
St.
needs
John.
like 15,000 pounds.
I don't know. Like she gives some
She
to
gives
St.
some to that guy.
And I think she also gives some to his sisters who are teachers.
They weren't good. They were.
Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, because it's been a few years, she does distribute the money. So I think even when she comes to him, I don't really know how much she has to begin with. Definitely more than she ever has.
If I hit the lotto, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
So,
Buying a boat.
On the boat, sailing to Bora Bora.
so yeah. So this is the story of Jane Eyre.
Wow. Yeah, you know,
Oh, my
the first 40 minutes of this movie, I said it out loud. I was like, wow, I love this.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was so good the first 40 minutes.
And then
And I was like, wow, someone finally picked something I actually really, really like. and then I just got kind of bored. I was like, they just keep courting each other. And
well, is that so?
yeah.
Does that speak to my taste or to your attention span when it comes to certain films?
Oh.
Your taste? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it just kind of got boring. It kind of got boring until
Wife in the
yeah,
attic.
until you find out about Big Bertha in the attic. Yeah.
Well, Bertha is very buxom. Like, she's probably one of the most... No, I'm wrong. She's not. I'm thinking of another adaptation where they really chose a buxom actress to play Bertha.
Well, he's not feeding her anything up there. You know what I mean? Poor woman is probably starving.
No, he's feeding her, you know.
Yeah, well,
Probably taking
mush.
shots, yeah.
Giving her gruel. And
Who knows? Like, I don't
she's lucky some mushy peas.
Yeah.
That's probably a delicacy
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm being really mean to the British this episode. I don't know what's going on.
This movie does not portray the British in the best way.
Yeah.
Well, it's still kind of... wasn't there also... And correct me if I'm wrong. In the Kennedy family, there was...
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There was there was a member of the Kennedy family that suffered from mental illness, and she essentially was hidden and never seen from again.
Oh, no. She was sent to an insane asylum and was given a lobotomy.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So, while I believe we have made leaps and bounds, I'm not going to argue that we haven't with the treatment of those who are mentally ill. There are still many places where it's very much the person in the attic or the person, and we have to work better, towards how we handle people and treat people who have mental illness with compassion and kindness. So at this time, that would have been the course. You either sent them to an asylum where God knows how they were treated, or
Horribly.
you kept them locked up in a part of the house where no one would see them. So it's unfortunate it happened. I don't know if this book was trying to address that. I don't really know if that was the purpose of the book, to be perfectly honest. I think it was
I
more
think it's
like...
just a Bluebeard thing.
Yeah,
you know?
it's...
Like I think
Yeah.
it's like the literalization of his past.
Yeah.
You know? I don't.
Yeah.
At least from my perspective, I
Yeah.
didn't quite see any real commentary on it. More just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, he's got his crazy wife in the attic. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, so... But, that's why criticism is valid. You read something, you criticize it regardless of the authorial intent.
Oh yeah,
or
no.
the time
You
and,
can definitely
it's-
find interesting stuff to talk
Yeah,
about. through that.
yeah, and there's
Yeah.
definitely plenty of people that definitely critique it from like a colonial lens, a racial lens,
Yeah, which is
gender.
it won't be for quite a while, but when we do our classic horror series, we'll
Yeah.
see another take on the story with I Walked with a Zombie that very much centers the colonialist aspects of the story and really deals with that in very interesting ways for 1940s Hollywood.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I really liked everything with the kid.
mhm.
I love the kid.
Adelaide? Adele?
No, Jane.
Oh,
Younger
Jane.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
younger
Oh.
Jane. Yes, yeah.
I thought that was the best stuff to me in the movie. Yeah, I don't know, and I thought the movie was going in such a different direction. Like I said, I didn't know anything about Jane Eyre.
Yeah.
I know it's a book.
Oh, okay.
By a Bronte. But
by one of the Bronte sisters.
By one of the Brontes. Apparently there's 3 of them.
There.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait, no, there's 4.
There's 4?
Branwell Bronte.
Yes. They all passed away very young, unfortunately. That's the sad part. They all died very young.
Were they all authors? All 4 of them?
It looks like Branwell Bronte wrote poems and drew.
Yeah. So Anne Bronte wrote sort of the counter to Jane Eyre, Agnes Grey. So
what do you mean by counter?
So all of the Bronte sisters worked as governesses. Anne Bronte, Agnes Grey is supposed to almost be somewhat autobiographical because it details sort of the horrific abuse she suffered as a governess at the hands of the family she was working for. So Agnes Grey
Did she also fall in love with the...
No. So Anne Bronte kind of wrote about the darkness. Like, there's darkness within this story, but it's overly romanticized. So think of Wuthering Heights, where there's these despicable individuals who you don't care less if they both die, which they do, but it's romanticized. Spoiler. So Anne Bronte didn't do that. She didn't romanticize what had no business being romanticized. So with Agnes Grey, she's a governess, but she suffers horrific abuse at the hands of the people she works for. And I think that's also why Anne Bronte was probably the less popular of the sisters, because of what she wrote. She also wrote a book about domestic violence, which she didn't do at that time.
They're not making any Agnes Grey movies, huh?
I don't know if they ever have, but that's one book I would love to read if I could get my hands on it.
2 other sisters. I don't think wrote Maria Bronte and Elizabeth Bronte.
I didn't know they had other sisters.
There's a ton of these Brontes I'm finding out.
Oh, wow.
Never read Agnes Grey?
I want to. I've read basically summaries and critiques of it, but I've never been able to.
Why do you say if you're able to get a copy of it? It's not like.
Public domain?
I don't know how. Like, I was trying to get my hands on a copy in our system. I don't really know if the system owns a copy. How many? I was once at a Borders, and I almost picked it up and decided no.
It is public domain. You can read it on Project Gutenberg.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Did that say by Action Bell?
Yeah, it's they all used pen names at the time. Yeah. Because they were like, we can't publish women. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do we want to give this a rating?
Of course we want to give it a rating.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
I'll bat lead off.
Okay.
Like you always do.
Yeah. What are we rating it out of? Let's rate it out of...
Wives in the Attic.
Wives in the Attic. I like it. I don't know. It's hard for me because I really thought we were... Are you not catching me at all?
You know what? We'll figure something out after.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
It'll be fine. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure one of these mics pick me up.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
You were about to rate this movie.
But also, you were saying that you thought it was going somewhere.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Thank you. You and me have always been like this. I was saying that like I said earlier, the first 40 minutes, I really thought that this was going to be I thought this was going to be special. I was that's how much I loved the first 40 minutes.
You thought you were going to come in like Amanda with
I did.
Anna Karenina.
Yes, really.
Oh.
Really, that's exactly what I was thinking. Was I'm going to have my Amanda moment. That's how much I loved the first 40 minutes of it. And then I just got bored.
High praise.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of once it turned out to just be a romance and they were just she's just falling for this guy. I love the stuff about her being independent and everything like that. And I mean, I guess love doesn't necessarily mean you're not independent. It's just, I guess because I didn't like him at all either. So I was just kind of So it kind of fell off for me. I'll still give it a 4 out of 5 because it was still good. And it did pick me back up when
The
when
reveal.
you found out about Big Bertha. You know what I mean? Like that was big for me. So 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 wives in the attic.
I hit it with 3.5 wives in the attic. This was good. Yeah. Not much like. I don't know. Again, I couldn't really get on the Rochester vibe, but like they all did a good job. The film looked handsome. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you. Who shot this movie? Because it was like
was really pretty.
especially in the first 40 minutes, you got some amazing landscape shots, and like there's even the shot where she's walking up to St. John's house, and in the distance you see the house with the lights on, and I'm like, wow, this is shot very well.
I also noticed too, and this is probably the third time I've watched this movie, that when you first see her, she's literally at a crossroads.
Yes. Yeah, I noticed that too.
Which I thought was also brilliant in terms of the imagery, because where she is at that point in her life, what she's facing. Yeah. But I love the shots of the moor, the desolation, which reflects what she's feeling, that she's adrift. Like her life has been shattered, and she has to pick up the pieces.
Yes, this was shot by Adriano Goldman, who did a lot of stuff in Brazil, and his most notable stuff outside of this is probably working on The Crown, which I think he shot pretty much all of, 28 episodes. That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
And Andor.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I am also going to give this a 3.5 wives in the attic. I think I prefer the 2006 adaptation. But yeah, beautiful movie, beautiful score, costumes great. Yeah.
I love this adaptation, and I've seen quite a few. And I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5. Wives in the Attic. I just love the way it's shot. I love how it uses the location, the scenery, the moors. Like it really gives you that, especially with certain shots. Like one of the shots I love is when Jane is going to post the mail, and it's the fog in the forest, the creaking of the trees, and it brings you back to a wilder time, and like the fact that there could be goblins in this forest, there could be ghosts.
Elves.
Yeah, and the way he emerges from the mist, and he's literally like dominating her when he, like, because he's on a horse, and I'm thinking of all this as I'm talking now, because when I watched it, I didn't really think about any of that stuff, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's true, he comes upon her in a very domineering position. You know, he's on top of a horse. There's that aggression to it, and it's just beautifully shot. 5 out of 5 wives in the attic for me. So thank you so much for joining us for the start of our costume drama series. As always, like, subscribe, and we will see you next time, everyone. Bye.